Okay, this is going to be a pin blank build for a Slimline Pro pin. This is the design using Dremel 3D, and now we've got the 3D printer set up and it's getting up to temperature, and we'll be starting the build here very shortly. Now, what I did to generate this design was I made a cylinder with approximately the same diameter as the outside diameter of the bushing, which the wood would be turned down to if you were making this out of wood. Use that as the diameter of the cylinder, and then I put a hole down through the cylinder, which was to be the size of the hole you would get if you drilled it with an 8mm drill. So we're going to try this out and see if this is going to work in terms of making a pin blank. Okay, we're into the build now with about 10 minutes left. The length of this cylinder was based on the length of the blank that we were to produce with wood if we were going to make this first cylinder for this Slimline Pro pin. So not too much left on this. We'll be back. Okay, we're near the end of the build here. You see the tape on the platform. The reason I did that was in the first trial I made, it developed the cylinder up to about 53%, and then the cylinder just toppled over. It did not stick to the platform adequately. So I put some tape on the platform, hoping that that would work a little better, and it seems to, at least in this case. Okay, well, this is the completed cylinder, so I'll take it off the platform now and see how it's going to work with the brass tubes and the fittings, and I'll be back to you after we've taken a look at that. Okay, this is kind of a dry fit of the pin. It took about 17 minutes to make each of the cylinders. This is the Slimline Pro pin. I'm going to make another one now, and the next one I'm going to actually apply a gilt paste to the barrels and see if I can give them a protective coating of CA glue. The brass tubes actually fit into these plastic sleeves with enough friction that I didn't need to use any super glue at all. Matter of fact, these particular brass tubes had been roughed up already, so I got a nice fit. So we'll come back to you after we've made another pin and done some work with the gilt. Okay, what I'm going to do now is apply some Gilder's paste. I'm using Tulip Red, and I'm going to rub that into this these two cylinders. Now the nice thing about this is that the outside surface is a little bit rough, so I'm hoping that this will allow the Gilder's paste to adhere pretty well to these plastic cylinders that I turned on the 3D printer. So we'll come back in a minute. Okay, I've applied the Gilder's paste and I'm running the lathe at a pretty low speed, and now I'm going to wipe off the excess. I'm going to turn the speed up now and see if this stuff buffs up on this. I applied another coat of the Tulip Red Gilder's paste, and I'm going to let it kind of set up here for a few minutes, and then I'll wipe off the excess and buff it, and then we'll come back and see what it looks like, and then I'm going to try to apply a CA glue finish at that point. Okay, this is what it looks like now with the second coat of the Gilder's paste on it, and let it set for a little bit, and then wiped off the excess with it turning at a slow speed, and then ran the speed up to go over it one more time to kind of polish it up a little bit. So now we're going to try to apply the CA glue. Here's what it looks like now with the super glue application. I put on 9 applications of the super glue. I'm now going to use micromesh pads, and I'm going to take it up through the grits. We'll start out at 600 and go up to 12,000 grits, and then I'll put on a polish, plastic polish after that. Okay, here's what the two barrels look like after they've been polished and had the CA glue finish on them. They still feel a little bit rough, but they're not too bad. It's at least a smooth, hard surface. These are the bushings that I used for the project, and I set the 3D printer so that it would basically make a hole through the center of each of these barrels equal to 8 millimeters, and then the outside was set to the same diameter as the bushing that you're just turned to, which I think was about 0.412 or 0.425 inches. Now I'm going to go ahead and assemble the pen. Okay, and the pen is done. It's a click pen, so it works fine. Mechanism works good. Not a bad looking pen. I think what I would like to do really with this 3D printer is use different colored filaments, and instead of trying to use something like the Gilder's paste to color it. The other thing I could do is to airbrush the plastic. I've done that before on a couple of chess pieces that I made with this 3D printer, and it looks really good. And that might be a way of introducing some different colors and patterns on this. But at least the experiment worked out. I was able to use the 3D printer to make a couple of pen barrels and then be able to assemble a pen. So as we try other things, we'll get back with you with additional videos.